Hey YouTubers, so what's happening today? We're back in the engine on the ML350 W166 and we're having a look at the turbo oil seal. I bought some new seals from the dealer, really cheap, all three seals. I'll show you those in a second, and they cost around 35 Australian. And what I'm going to do is change them, and I think I'll put a bit of silicone on to see if I can stop this problem. So this is the Pcv tube coming from the Pcv valve at the back, positive crankcase ventilation, and I think this is a little heater to stop the any water freezing. Not sure about that yet. And that goes onto the turbo, and the problem I'm looking at the moment is this dripping onto the the swirl flap motor. So you can see this connector here, that's got a lot of oil onto it, and the motor top, and this harness protector that goes over the top. Okay, so I've just taken off the turbo outlet pipe, and you can see the oil here dropping down onto the engine. You can see there's oil all around there. I'm going to clean that up today, but I think this is still going to be leaking, because I noticed it's even leaking off the outlet of the air cleaners through that seal there. So I'm going to buy those seals as well and get those fixed up. Here's the three seals I'm replacing today. This green one is the it's on the outlet pipe. It goes in the end of there and goes straight onto the turbo. So I'm going to fix that one up. I think I might also get the other one that goes onto the resonator at the other end of that transfer aluminium pipe. This is the Pcv seal. You can see the grooves in there. It's not quite so clear, but I can tell you it's a lot. The old one is very soft and squidgy, and you can see it's slightly larger, and the new one is tight and quite well defined there. You can see the ribs have worn off completely off the old one. And for the main turbo inlet seal, you can see a couple of huge differences. You can see the shape is completely different. It's all squidged out at the top here. You can see this huge groove. I don't know if you can see that in the light, that the turbo itself has worn into the seal. And if you look on the bottom side, you can see, you can see the diameter. It's actually bigger. It's actually quite a lot larger, the old seal. It's swollen that much. Okay, so we're going to change that today. And something I read on one of the forums was to put a bit of silicone on this to try and help it seal. I'm not sure about that, because you're going to have to take that off when you strip it down again, but you really don't want this leaking onto that swirl flap motor. Okay, and then the actual transfer pipe itself from the air cleaners, you can just see the amount of oil in here is crazy, and it's all leaking out. That's leaking out from the seal there and leaking down onto that swirl flap motor. So another idea I had was to put a some kind of plastic liner underneath there to catch the oil before it drips down onto the swirl flap motor. So I might be having a look at that in a moment. I even had oil leaking from here, from the from this fixed seal between the MAFs and the transfer pipe in the middle there. So I've put on the new seals now. This is the new seal on the Pcv pipe, and here's the new seal on the turbo. And honestly, that's about the best $15 I've spent on this car. That is so tight and neat in there that if it doesn't seal, I'll be pretty surprised. So I'll put the green seal on this one after I've got the air cleaner assembly together. So I'm going to try and get this new seal over the turbo. It's going to be a bit tight, I think. We'll see how we go and see if we can get that on, and make sure I get the connectors on. Luckily I can change these seals later without disturbing the turbo seal. So I'll be ordering those up in the week and pick them up. You can also see I've given everything a really good cleanup. So I've got down there with my screwdriver and my rag and tried to get any oil, especially off the swirl flap motor. So if I can just zoom in on that a little bit, you can see it just sitting there. That's the shiny piece in the center. There's the connector on the right hand side, and I really got the rag under everything there. But honestly, if oil drips down there, I have no idea where that goes on the engine. You'd think it'd go on fire. Okay, interesting diversion here. I was trying to lift this connector off, and as usual I've managed to break the small grey clip. I'm going to have to try and order some of those, see if I can get those to be replaced. And unbelievably it flipped off. Came over the engine, went down the front here into the hole of the resonator, through the resonator, and ended up down there. I don't know if you can just see that. Inside, here you go, I'll get the light. Down there, inside the turbo inlet pipe. So I'll fish that out and try again. So, I don't know if you can see back there, got the new seal onto the turbo inlet. That was really tight, but not as tight as the new seal onto the PCV. You can just see it there, just red. That was super tight. Not looking forward to taking that off again. As I mentioned, I'm going to change the air cleaner inlet seals into the MAF. They're not so important, clearly they're under vacuum. Just letting the, actually if they do leak, they will let dirty air in. Not ideal, not too bad. And just checking, got all the connections on. So air filter pressure, MAF sensor, that one's really dirty. What else? We disconnected the PCV sensor. And at the front here, put the resonator back on, top screw at the top, side screw on the left, got the clamp screw onto the turbo outlet pipe, and got the, just down there you can just about see, got the intercooler pipe back on, which is where I had that little clip full, and now we should be good for a test.